What's going on, everybody? Addy with Addy Prints Plays and Paints, and today I'm going to show you some minis from Nemesis. Show you where I started and a couple where I finished. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? It's Addy with Addy Prints Plays and Paints, and today we are painting miniatures from Nemesis. If you're not sure what Nemesis is, let me read you what it is. Nemesis is a semi-cooperative game where you and your crewmates must survive on a ship infested with hostile organisms. To win the game, you will have to complete one of the objectives dealt to you at the start of the game and get back to Earth in one piece. You will find many obstacles on your way, which include swarms of intruders. That's what I'm painting right now, is an intruder. Poor physical conditions of the ship, the other players that will have their own agendas, and sometimes just cruel fate. The gameplay of Nemesis is designed to be full of climatic moments, which hopefully you will find rewarding even when your best plans are ruined and your character meets a terrible fate. It is a super cool game, and mainly the reason I bought it was because these miniatures are dope. I freaking love them. It's got a real Aliens vibe. You just have these cool xenomorphic dudes with two tails instead of one, which I kind of appreciated. And just the spiny bits on the edge, razor sharp claws where they could just tear into you and still have hands. I mean, this is straight up out of the movies. They just kind of changed it to make it work for them, which, cool. I'm good with it. I appreciate it. It makes sense to me. Instead of doing it that whole black, I went for a purple. I used some paints from Anita's all-purpose acrylic. It is very much just a hobby paint. It's nothing like Army Painter or Vallejo by any means. It's a lot thicker, but if you cut it, it works just fine. The main colors I used for these guys and the other ones I've painted already is base coated with black. On top of the black, I start the bodies with a deep eggplant. Cut that with some dark plum 1:1 with a little bit of water, and then mix the dark plum with the hyacinth and the deep eggplant with hyacinth. It ends up being this really cool color scheme. But rather than hear me drone on for the whole time, here's some music with it, and I'll pop in and out. So that is the intruder. I think it turned out pretty good. Finished them off with a clear gloss from Frixon. Or not Frixon, Krylon. Good lord, wrong thing. So these guys are called creepers, and they're gnarly because they got no freaking legs. Basically what they are is kind of like the early stages of a transformation from a human into a Xeno or a intruder. I thought they were neat because they're just like early on in transitioning. So, they got stumps, but they're not quite walking with them yet. And you can see the two tails starting to grow. Same process as the other ones. I got 3 of these dudes. So base coated it with black. Started off with the deep eggplant. Did some highlights in the recessing with the Dark Plum. Cut the 2 together to do a layer on top of that. And then cut with the Dark Plum and the Hyacinth to do the initial highlighting. My camera went crazy and I had to fix it. Sorry about that. And then did a cut with the Hyacinth and the deep eggplant to kind of get that final highlight before just doing straight Hyacinth and then ash gray from Army Painter to really get those high points. The one thing I did find out is when I used my purple wash to kind of get it that deeper purple color, totally wiped out my highlights, which I should have known that, but it is what it is. I just had to reapply it. It wasn't that bad. But I got 3 of these little buggers, so check it out and I'll pop back in. So painting these guys, I did learn a couple things. When you are doing washes, probably make sure you don't do it on your highlights yet. Or if it's the brightest you want that highlight to be, do it after you do the wash, which is what I had to do instead of spending all this time throwing these gnarly highlights on the back and then doing a purple wash to completely remove them, which gave a good tone, I will say that, and it blended some colors. I would probably just do the color blending first, then wash, and then highlight after that. It wasn't a big deal. I kind of got to see the highlights in two different lights, so it's kind of more food for thought for next time. I didn't do a whole lot on the underside of these guys, just because mainly you're not going to see it. The claws for sure, because they just have that angle, but as far as like his whole chest and everything, just really did a base color and then the highlights on top of that. But it was fun doing these guys. I really like, there's a lot of detail in their armor and their body, but not so much that you have to do everything. It's kind of like a quick and dirty batch paint. I started off mini painting thinking like, oh my god, every mini's got to be painted to like 110%, and it's just not realistic. You'll get fatigued so quick. So this is, you can kind of see with that highlighting on there, just brightens everything up. You can see a whole lot more. You kind of get a depth to like the armor and the muscle tone. So it ends up looking pretty cool. My head keeps popping in camera because I apparently don't know where I put my camera. So apologize for that. I will fix it later. But just that dry brushing on it and just getting all your different layers of color depth on there really made for a really cool mini. So I was very satisfied with how these turned out. I got 4 more big guys to do, and then 1 way bigger guy. Again with my ugly mug just blocking that camera. Super. You can see I'm doing the tiny bits. I gotta see it, so it's hard. So I'm really getting in there. I have my magnifier. So I have 2 lights set up. I have a ring light on the right of me, and then my boom mic arm on the left, and that usually does a lot of the light. But there's a magnifier on there that I usually use to look at small stuff, but figured why not? Just move in a little bit closer. What's the worst it could do besides block from everyone what they're seeing? But so you can see on the head, I'm trying to get that shiny spot to where the light's going to be most reflective. And that at the most, highest layer is going to be that ash gray. And that's kind of what I used on the tops of all these arms and the parts, just to kind of get that color in there. It's just that ash gray because it's the brightest. And it looks really good for a finisher, because that's, if you're thinking of it like metal, that's going to be the edge. So all the edging is going to have that real bright color. Not quite white, but just the gray. But it ended up looking pretty cool. So once they were all primed and ready to go, then I got the clear gloss varnish and sprayed them down. Got the green bits on their legs to kind of show where the blood was at. And not necessarily that they're bleeding, but I figured add some green blood because they're stumpy, and I don't want it to just be like, oh yeah, they don't have legs. They're just weird little alien babies. So it was more kind of getting that reason for them to transition. I also broke a paintbrush while doing this. That kind of irritated me. And it wasn't like the whole brush. These aren't the best brushes by any means. But they're decent. But the edges aren't very well connected. So when I went to dry it off, I snapped the tip and just effed it. So that kind of sucked. But this is the finished product. Pretty cool. You can see that edging and that highlighting. The gloss just really makes these guys pop. They look super good. And you'll see the 3 of them together just kind of rotating on a little cool tray. But very cool details and super quick. Like 4 colors tops. That 5th one just to highlight, but not a whole lot into this, and you can do a really decent miniature with it. So it ended up turning out really freaking cool. I was impressed by these. So what do you guys think? Hope it turned out well. I got a couple more to do. I'll probably do another recording for the Queen because she's super freaking cool. So really excited for that one. But the set's almost done, and then I'll do the little guys and start getting to play. I'll get a board game play here coming up. I've got a fun guy I'm printing right now. He's super freaking huge, so once he's out, I'll put him up there. If you guys like what you saw, check me out on Instagram at Addy Prints Plays and Paints, where I'm posting pictures of all the minis I'm working on, stuff that I'm printing, and then any kind of new product I'm checking out. Obviously, check the channel if you like what you saw. Give a like to the video. Subscribe, where I'm trying to post stuff every couple weeks. Like I said, it's either going to be gameplay or product review or some miniature painting. I'm working on getting a second resin printer. Fingers crossed. Still waiting on my Anycubic Photon to come in. I have no idea when it's coming in. I got it for a smoking deal, but everyone who bought one said it's been like months since they've heard back, so kind of scared. That's why I'm working on the second printer. Hopefully it's resin. If not, then I will get another FDM printer and just throw more stuff out there. There's a cool one from Solvol that I was going to check out. It's got a direct drive and a filament runout sensor, so kind of leaning towards that one, but if they have a resin printer, that's what I want because I need me some resin printing, and then we can get some really cool minis. But thanks for coming by, guys. I appreciate it, and like I said, give a like to the video, subscribe, leave a comment below if there's something you want to see me do differently, or if you just don't like what I did, I'll throw it on there. I got tough skin, it's fine. But catch you guys later. Addy out.